Let's take a couple of moments to stabilize ourselves, be completely fresh and open to receive the learnings that Baba has imparted through this Murli, dated 16th May 1973. Let's look at how in the current times, in the current state, how these learnings close to 50 years ago that Baba had seen for us, how they can be implied in today's conditions and to elevate our sthiti. The first two lines of the song, जुड़ गई है मन की तार तुमसे, शक्तियां मिल रही अपार तुमसे, is exactly the base of today's Murli. Today's Murli is based on two words, that is connection and correction. Baba talks about the ultimate Purusharth, a combination of winning over all attachments and being an example of correction of the changes that need to be made, and being one with the Supreme Father, that is the connection. In today's Murli, Baba also talks about passing from the grips of the past. The title of today's Murli is "The Final Effort is to be a Conqueror of Attachment and an Embodiment of Remembrance." Do you experience yourselves to be an image that is complete with all the powers? What is the inheritance you have received from Bap Dada in this elevated birth? The inheritance that you have received is to claim a right, means to claim a right to have all the powers. Have you become master almighty authorities? The ones with all the powers? The ones who have a right to all the powers? Since you have become master almighty authorities, do you constantly stay in the experience of being embodiments of all attainments at all times? Or is there a difference? In your claiming a right to the inheritance, simply by keeping two aspects in your intellect. Baba says, you can finish any difference and create that stage for all the time. In your claiming a right to the inheritance, simply by keeping two aspects in your intellect, you can finish any difference and create that stage for all the time. You know what those two aspects are, and you're also doing them, but you're not doing them constantly. One aspect is to make your awareness accurate, and the other is to make your actions elevated. Awareness accurate and actions elevated. What are these two words? One is to have a constant connection to make your awareness powerful. A direct, constant connection to make your awareness powerful. And in order to perform elevated actions, you need to give yourself constant correction, constant connection, and constant correction. Because of not constantly correcting your actions, you're not constantly able to stabilize yourself in the stage of being a master with all the powers and being a master almighty authority. These two words are very easy. Constant connection with Babdada and constant correction of growing out of your attachments. And these two words are very easy. This is why you have come here, is it not? Is it difficult to perform the task for which you've come here? Baba's asking who would feel something to be difficult? Those who are weak. And why do they experience something to be difficult? Even whilst the connection is forged, they sometimes find things difficult. They find it difficult because they do not work hard. They know it. They understand it. They even follow it. Yet, whilst moving along, they prefer to rest. It's not constant. There are breaks in between. They're not those who like Bap Dada, who are like Bap Dada, but they are those who like to rest. This is why, even whilst knowing everything, the stage becomes like that. If you look at Brahma Baba, the learnings and the history of Brahma Baba, the challenges that he faced, because of his direct, constant connection, he was able to pass through the challenges gracefully. This is why, even whilst knowing everything, that stage becomes like that. Therefore, those who prefer to rest cannot attain an elevated stage, similar to that of the Father in performing elevated actions. Therefore, correct your every thought and deed and forge a connection with Bap Dada's actions. And then check whether you have become equal to the Father or not. What is the last effort that remains to be made by you elevated souls? Do you know the final question in the paper of the last stage? Those who know the question in advance would definitely pass, would they not? Do all of you know the final question in the final test paper? When the final time will come, it will be achanak. There will be no time given at that time. So Baba is asking, do you know the final question in the paper of the last stage? Even your devotees know your last question. even they speak about this. Your devotees know this, and you don't know? Have your devotees become cleverer than you? The devotees know the result from the previous cycle of you elevated souls, whereas you have forgotten the final stage of the present effort. They hear of this last stage again and again. They even remember it and praise it. You've heard the knowledge about the Gita from the God of the Gita. And so, what is the final stage that is described? To be a conqueror of attachment and an embodiment of remembrance. So it is said that when the Mahabharata Yuddha was happening and Arjun was not ready to take on fighting with his brothers and his family members and his gurus and everyone. That is when Krishna explains to him through the 18 adhyayas of the Gita. And as the 18th adhyaya gets complete, is when he realizes that Arjun realizes that he is operating from Maya, from attachments. And those are actually already dead. His cousins, everyone on the other side, the Kauravas are already dead because they are not left with any virtues. And all that he needs to do is to complete that task, that deed to free them. And that's when he becomes Nashtomoha, conqueror of attachment. The devotees describe your stage, do they not? So, what is the final question in the last paper? To what extent have you become an embodiment of remembrance? And to what extent have you conquered attachment? This is the last question. To what extent have you become an embodiment of remembrance? And to what extent have you conquered attachment? And that is why Baba says even the devotees know it, that when the final stage comes, suddenly all the life flashes in front of you. And you can see the gap that all the attachments that you have actually have no meaning because nothing is going to go with you as the body, as the soul leaves the body. What would really matter is being connected to the one. So this is the last question. To what extent have you become an embodiment of remembrance? And to what extent have you conquered attachment? In order to put this last question into practice, you have to put those two words into practice. That is connection and correction. Now, since the question is being announced in advance, every one of you will pass with honors, will you not? However, even then, there will only be 108. Is it so difficult? You are given this question on the first day. You told the last question on the day you take spiritual birth. So, all of you elevated souls sitting here will now pass, will you not? You're also told that in order to pass, you have to put the other meaning of the word pass. into practice. Whatever happened is the past. जो बीत गई सो बीत गई. Will you not pass if you continue to move along whilst considering everything that has happened to be the past? When Baba says that you put the other meaning of the word past, that is past into practice, in what is already past, it's gone away. You've gone beyond that. Will you not pass if you continue to move along whilst considering everything that has happened to be the past? When you are the same word, pass, one pass means to let it go away. The other pass is in the Hindi language, that is, you're coming close. That is, you are with Baba. You're close to Bab Dada. So keep the three forms of this one word in your awareness. The past has passed. You have to remain close and you have to pass. The past is past. Biti so biti. You have to remain close and you have to pass. So, what will be the result then be? You will definitely become the beads of the rosary of victory that has been remembered as a memorial of the gathering. When Bab Dada constantly gives you children an invitation to stay with him and to experience every divine activity with him, do you not accept such an invitation? Through the entire cycle, souls have been receiving a variety of invitations from elevated souls and also from ordinary souls. If you do not accept this invitation now, you can never receive it again. To accept the invitation means to keep yourself close to the Father. Is this difficult? You simply have to make sure you reach the place where the invitation came from. All the rest is the responsibility of the one who has invited you. Therefore, to take yourself to the Father means to remain close to the Father with the intellect. Does this take effort? If, in today's world, an ordinary person receives an invitation from the President to spend a day with him, what would he do? Someone replies, he wouldn't have the courage. If he were inspired to have the courage, then what would he do? Would he then delay himself? So, why do you not constantly accept the Father's invitation? Are there any strings which pull you? Are the children powerful or is the Father powerful? Who's the most powerful of all? No matter how powerful someone is, what attainment is there from that? On the basis of being embodiments of experience of all attainments, does it seem right for Brahman souls to be attracted to that attraction? To be attracted to the attraction of someone else being powerful or something else being powerful? In what form has the influential Maya been shown to Brahmin souls and elevated souls? Baba gives an example of a paper lion as a toy, as something that we would play as children. How you make forms of different animals, to toy with them, to play with them. So Baba is asking, do you experience her, that is Maya, to be a paper lion? Those who think that influential Maya is a paper lion, then for them, that is a toy. And if you're one of them, then raise your hands. So the comparison of Maya as being lion, lion means someone powerful who will take you over, versus a paper lion having a grip over you. Paper lion, you are playing with it. The difference. Have you not yet made Maya into a paper lion? Has she not yet become lifeless? Those who put a decoration on themselves will not be afraid, but others will be afraid of them. Is there any life in Maya, in that paper lion? Does she sometimes come alive? Have you not made her unconscious yet? I was asking, has she become unconscious? Or is she still alive? Have you made her unconscious? Are you having grip over Maya, or is Maya yet having a grip over you? Has she died for you? What stage has she reached for you? Has she died? Has she been burnt away? Has she become unconscious? These are three stages. For some, she has become unconscious. For some, she has died. And for some, she has been burnt. That is, there is no name or trace left of her. So each one of you should check yourself to see what stage you have reached. Instead of making her unconscious, because the chances that if she's unconscious, she can be conscious again and have a grip over you. So instead of making her unconscious, you yourselves don't become unconscious, do you? If the life-giving herb is constantly with you, you can never become unconscious. Those who make others unconscious can never become unconscious themselves. This is the duty of Brahmin life. This is the correction that the Brahmins need to make. And this happens via connection, constant connection. What was the promise you made while taking birth? You made the promise that you would become conquerors of Maya and conquerors of the world, did you not? This has been your occupation from birth. Can the occupation you have been carrying out from birth be difficult? This has been your occupation from the time that you're born as a Brahmin. The promise that you would make to Baba to become conquerors of Maya and be conquerors of the world. Acha, to those who remain constantly conscious, to those who remain full of all the power, to those who remain constantly with Bapdada, to those who constantly give their hands for Baba's task, to the elevated souls who are constantly cooperative and constantly victorious. Bapdada's love, remembrance, and namaste. And from us Brahmin children, lots and lots of love, remembrance, and namaste to our Bapdada. Quickly going through the last part, Bapdada meeting a group. So for Bapdada, this party that is the group, is a bouquet. In that, see which flower you are. Are you a rose or a chameli? You know the specialities of each flower, do you not? What is the difference between a lotus and a rose? A lotus is an expert at performing wonders. A lotus is someone who grows in kitchen, in the muck, and yet stands out. So all the vices that would be around, all the conditions that would be around where we would see ourselves, we are surrounded by a lot of low vibration energy as we step out. And that's where the lotus shows up in its beauty. And that's the way you got to show up. That's peculiar about a lotus. And a rose is an expert in giving out fragrance. It gives out that experience. Here, Bab Dada himself is filling all the flowers with all specialities. And each soul is unique, has its own fragrance, like how each flower would have its own speciality. Like akka fool, I don't know what you would call it in English, but it doesn't have any fragrance, but yet it is offered to Almighty. So Bapdada himself is filling all the flowers with all specialities. Scientists are able to create many things out of one, are they not? Where did they learn this from? Here, you fill each type of flower with many types of sweetness. It is remembered. Only you know your ways and means. To change one thing to something completely different is his way, is it not? So you do things your way, but to change something completely, to make it different, is his way. To fill each one with all types of sweetness. Whatever the specialities are of all the flowers, each one has to be filled with the speciality of all the flowers. And this is why it is said, the Father loves you, becoming full of all virtues. That's the fragrance and sweetness that Baba's talking about. The master of the garden is pleased to see the garden. That his Father is our Supreme Father, Bab Dada. He's happy to see us all Brahmin souls being a part of the garden, the Madhuban. Wherever you look, whatever you hear, and whatever you speak is all filled with speciality. So fill yourself with the speciality of everything. What will you become when you make everything special? A special soul never becomes trapped in the mud. Such a soul always remains cheerful. Those who have faith in their intellects have the faith in every single aspect. You are the children of the clever and wise Father. Those who know how to adopt many forms will be images of success in every aspect. Acha. Om Shanti. Let's take a couple of moments to reflect on the learnings from this Murli and see how it is applicable to our lives. Constant connection and constant correction. Okay, you can unmute yourself and be ready to share.
Om Shanti, brother. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Javan.
I always like this word, last effort. You know, it reminds me of a student when I'm preparing for the exam. You know, what is important? What is important when we come to know, we have these classes also, they say, how can you do your exam best? 60 minutes question paper or a kind of a revised paper when they give, the students are feel so elated. And when that same comes in the paper, they really love that step. So whenever this word last effort comes, because Baba is actually nailing our journey when he gives this thing. I always call it as ER and CA. For me, that is, if I'm an ER, if I'm an embodiment of remembrance, then I can conquer attachment. I love this word. And as you rightly said, in the Gita also when it was given, but that was for a different purpose. When Arjuna once said, "Oh Krishna, my illusions have all gone. My memory has returned." So that smriti was given back to him by Lord Krishna. So now here also smriti is given to us by Shiv Baba. Smriti of what? Of who you are, who he is, what's the cycle. And he wants, and this is not a smriti like idhar ka, it is so far. So dur ka smriti, to bring it. And one word which I remember for the smriti, I don't remember the class, it's anhad. It's constantly, if I remember it, then how can anything else get attached to me, my body or nothing? No. So I feel the basic for CA, that is conquering of attachment, is unheard, accurate remembrance. I love these words, and I don't know my final stage and all. Is it real? I want to experience it. Om Shanti.
Being present in every moment, being prepared. What Baba says, the final effort is Nashto Moha Smriti Labdha. So when you're ready, ever ready, like Baba says through the Murlis, that achanak things are going to happen suddenly. And what is going to come to aid at that time is when you're free from all the attachments and you are in constant remembrance of that one. You're going back to home. And the happiness that you would have as you would do that. Thank you, Gurjavan.
Om Shanti, Vimesh Bhaiji. These three words, pass, pass, and pass, to make the side scenes of the drama pass and become pass with honor, and always be pass or the near in companionship with one Almighty Authority Baba. These three words are quite practical tips. And to be in the guest consciousness, like I'm a trustee, this is not my home. My home is not here. My home doesn't exist in this world. It exists at Param Dham. So that awareness, like in yesterday's Sakar Murli also, Baba said, "Mera ghar yahan nahi hai. I don't have house here. I belong to Param Dham." So that awareness, and that is related to the lotus also. That lotus, while residing in the in the this world, outer world, but inner world, the intellect is totally detached from the outer world. Inner world, it is connected with Baba. So that intellect is like lotus like, and it is spreading the fragrance like a rose, fragrance of purity, peace, and divine love. Om Shanti.
How nicely Baba has actually used the word pass. Pass ho jao means you win, you conquer, you go beyond. And actually, pass means you see it through. See, as it goes by, it's gone. So it's not holding you, gripping you. Thank you,
Om
Om.
Shanti, brother. I also
Yes,
like
Harpreet.
this very nice sentence where Baba says, you're actually getting an invitation all the time from Baba himself. And not only from Baba, from elevated souls, you're also getting invitation from ordinary souls. And that made me reflect actually, even in our daily lives, you notice that sometimes you get invitations for doing very pure actions, pure, vibrations. And sometimes we accept it and sometimes we don't. And we see Baba's angels actually in different forms throughout our lives. But are we able to recognize those invitations? They are always knocking at your door. And if you begin to recognize them, you realize that it's Baba in his various forms coming to you and asking you, inviting you to do this, to do that, to remember, whichever way. And it's a nice way that Baba has portrayed it in this Murli. And the second thing which I really liked was his example of a paper lion. Like, Maya is nothing, actually. And when we read these Murlis, we feel very empowered. Yes, it is nothing. It's just a paper, nothing. And then as the day moves along, some deviations happen. So for us to remain in that constant stage of it's just a paper lion and nothing is there, I think it's a very nice way of expressing it. Good teaching and good learning today. Om Shanti.
Yes, Harpreet. Very nicely Baba has put across about, and we get to also look at all those limit instrumental souls that is making our this journey possible. That if we have come into Gyan, if we are where we are today, we can look around at all those who have been instrumental in teaching us, in uh, imparting this learnings and holding our hands, giving us that sustenance. They are all forms uh, of Baba's ways to actually have us be here as the part of the fine journey as we go together. And yes, about paper lion also, like how simply in just one example, he has explained that Maya is nothing but a toy. Now you're going to give power to that toy to play with you. So is the toy playing with you, toying with you, or are you going to be toying with it? So that explains and makes it so clear and insignificant about, yeah, you can actually conquer Maya. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Brother, I just wanted to ask you, see, when sister was sharing about invitation, in that paragraph, Baba gives us two things. One is, I have to RSVP the invitation immediately. If I don't RSVP it, I will never receive it again. And the invitation is, of course, come, stay with me and accept. So no sooner when Baba, that paragraph started, I said, okay, Baba, I'm sending you RSVP. I sat on my vehicle, I Google mapped, I put the location of where Baba is in my intellect. And then I don't know what took me there. It felt like it was just an invitation, but I am not going, somebody pulled me there, because that word, all rest, is his responsibility. It is such a beautiful way, that invitation, RSVP, then reaching that place, make sure. That was something, a different way of Baba saying, start your remembrance.
True. Absolutely true, Gajavin. Yes, I got the English words for akka fool. Thank you, Pramila Ben and Shivani Ben. Where else are we seeing ourselves? What else are we seeing?
Om Shanti, brother.
Yes, yes, Vijit Bhai.
So very nice, Murli. So here we know the last paper. Baba has already given the last question paper. In Laukik, if you compare, if you are attending exams, we would not know the questions in advance. But here, Baba says, in the first day itself, we all know the last paper. And Baba is also giving us the answer, how to pass with honor, 3 passes that others have already explained. So, and yet very few are passing, just 108, right? Though we know the last paper and the last question and also the answer. The reason is one needs to work on and constantly maintaining. So this is all fixed in the drama, right? This is all fixed in the drama, but yet we are not supposed to say that it is fixed in drama. Each one of us should put our 100% effort to get there, to reach our final destination. Looking at all this, it's quite interesting. In this Laukik world, we would not know the question or the answer. But here, knowing everything, yet many are hardly people are found.
Vijit Bhai, we lost you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, see, here Baba is telling us everything, the question and the answer and how to get there and all the remedies and everything is there, the question, answer, and when that will come and how we have to get there. Everything Baba is telling us, yet very less are passing.
Yeah.
I think it's a good point to churn, because this is where the what kind of albelapan, or I don't know what is in English. Where does the effort we lose on our efforts, so that we the very little number pass. So what should we be attentive of? What should we be careful of in in our Purusharth, so that we are amongst the top, the first division. So I think we can churn on this.
Yeah, so
And I was also just reflecting that, imagine a scenario where we have various switches, and each switch, when we switch it on, there's a different design pattern illuminating. That is our Sarup, different forms. Now, when I start switching on one switch, some different form, second switch, different form. So which is the form which is matching close to the Bap Dada's form, that is Bap Saman. That switch we should always remember, and we should switch on that switch only. I'm not able to express it correctly, but it's like an electrical circuit or some LED kind of a design, where you have different switches. You have the choice to switch on the correct switch. But that will, once we know the correct switch, we switch on that only, and then that design pattern is like Sampurna, complete form. And we always remember to switch on that switch only, not any other. Okay.
Om Shanti, can I just say something? And pardon me for saying this actually, because this is just me talking, and I hope it's not misunderstood. I feel whenever Baba uses the word 108 and only some will pass with honors, he's pushing you and pushing all of us to, reflect and to become purer and purer and purer. But I feel many more than 108 can actually reach there. Anybody who can um, finally overcome, because also Baba is all loving, all merciful, all graceful. And I think this whole pushing of passing with honors is just Baba's way of making us really drive ourselves towards that real goal. But I don't feel it is going to be restricted to 108. This is just my personal view. So that's what. Om Shanti.
It's almost like teachers asking the students, okay, how many of you would like to come first? And then there are 75 hands going up. Okay. And everyone wants to come first. So,
That's
uh,
true.
Yeah,
yeah.
just like Baba asked who all wants to become Lakshmi and Narayan.
Yeah,
So everyone will
exactly.
raise their hand. Everybody raises
Exactly.
hand.
So, so at
But
least,
it's an individual checking. I think that's a correction which Baba said, na correction and connection. Always
yeah,
check and change. So that's at the individual level. Everybody is unique. Everybody is past in his or her own sense, I think.
Yeah.
yeah,
At least, yeah, on their journey of Purusharth, I think everyone will pass at some stage, but the effort will be to remain in that stage constantly. That is where I think people are, everybody have challenges maintaining that consistency.
yeah. And Baba's actually tuning us to play that game of getting into 108. Now imagine if somewhere in the Murli, if it is come and declared that, okay, 108 is complete. Do you think we will be doing that kind of a Purusharth? There'll be definitely a lapse in the way because, oh, okay, the top of the seats have already been taken. Okay.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So coming from that, okay, this constant think about that, okay, who's going to be coming first or who's going to be in the 108 or who's going to be in 16,108? It is constantly to keep you vigilant, to be agile, to uh, keep yourself detached from whatever would be pulling you back. Okay. And like what Vijit Pai, you were saying, no, that the question and the answer, okay. Like if you're giving an exam, there's a question paper. And how many of us as students would have wanted the answers beforehand that, oh, if I get the answers, we used to call it importance in our college days that oh, what if we know which questions are going to come? We're really going to be prepared for that. And like, okay, Baba's given the questions, Baba's also given the answers. Now it's up to you whether you want to come and stand first in it or not. So question is that, okay, E is equal to MC square. But now you got to go through that journey and get, okay, how did you arrive to that MC square? Okay, so now that answer is going to be coming what Girjaben said in two words, ER and CA. Okay, the conquering of attachment and the embodiment of remembrance. The combination of that is going to be the answer where you would write, hence, this is how E is equal to MC square. If I'm able to convey what my point is.
Yeah.
Brother, just to say, I never get bogged down by 108. You know why? In one of the Sakar Murlis, Baba said, 108 chodo, first division mein aao. And you know, first division is so huge, so huge. I think all Baba's children will be there. That one thing in the Murli, I never thought about the 108. First division mein aana. I will be with Baba. So the number never bothered me.
I kind of relate to what Sister just said. This too much of focus on the number will actually make you too competitive, and which is not really desirable in a soul evolution stage. So you are growing in your own journey. You're not competing that I'm better than this person in my spiritual journey. And, I have not in 108, that person is in 108. This is all actually, again, Maya influencing you and actually bringing you down. So for me also, that's why I said what I said even earlier. And I relate to what Sister just said. These numbers never have bothered me as well. I use them as an inspiration to work hard, but nothing beyond that. That's who has reached where. And I think we have to go above all this and just focus on Baba. This is it. And I actually believe that Baba has used these different analogies only to push us.
Yeah.
And that's where the message stays. Om Shanti.
Yeah, just one thing, Vimesh Bhai. If you remember 3 years back in the 12th standard results, they never announced first number, second number, and all because they couldn't do it. And I liked that. You know why? Earlier, even 1 mark difference made such a difference for the person who came second. Her photo never came on the paper. It was just 1 mark. But when they didn't announce the number, I liked it because that kind of result declaration was good, even though I know the best must be rewarded. I just remembered that instance when this 108 came.
Yeah. So the numbers that are getting used, okay, if we look at it from another perspective, everything that we see, we need some kind of uh, a target or some kind of a figure for everything. Like how we have 5,000 years, then we have 4 kalpas, okay, and each is divided into 1250 years, and the lifespan is 140 years. So everything is denoted in numbers. So my invitation would be to look at it in a way that, okay, what is only what you said, Harpreet Ben, is to the extent it inspires you, not to get into a rat race or to compete with anyone, because yes, competing, even that would be an attachment. So just keep on working on your own self, uh, introspecting, reflecting, looking at cleansing your aura, constant work on your own self. That's it. I guess that's all that is needed to be done. All right. Okay. Let's have a short meditation. Ombai, would you like to take up a meditation?
Bhaiji, I am on actually the morning walk, so there would be some
No problem.
disturbance.
No problem. No problem. All right. No problem. Anyone else would like to take up the meditation?
Okay, I can do it.
Okay, Harpreet Ben. Fantastic. Okay. Let's have some light, tranquilizing music. Harpreet Ben, you can start.
Okay. So relax completely as you focus on the beautiful points of the Murli today. And as we focus on Baba, see Baba inviting you, raising his hand and welcoming you to his world. You being his special child, you're getting a beautiful special invitation to join him. And as you completely relax, the point of light in the center of your forehead, your inner soul responding to that invitation and slowly rising up into the higher realms, higher and higher, with Baba's open arms welcoming you there. As you respond to that invitation of constant remembrance. And as you go higher and higher, you can feel your light becoming brighter and brighter. You can see the light of Baba blessing everyone in the universe. And you can see your own self receiving that beautiful light. I am a pure divine soul. I am a powerful soul. I am a victorious soul. I have conquered Maya, and nothing can impact me now, as I have Baba with me. My own radiance and vibrations spreading all across the universe. And with this empowered stage, I return now to the earth to carry out my functions as God's beautiful instrument. I return to my body, knowing that the invitation is always there to reach out to Baba anytime, anywhere, every second. And as I'm in my mind-body-soul connection now, I know my life has a purpose. And I'm going to be that beautiful flower in Baba's garden, nourishing the entire planet, helping everyone around, shining in my own glory. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Harpreet Ben. See you all tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Have a wonderful day correcting and connecting. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.